My name is Larry Kinser. I own Xcel Cooling products. Been in business since 2009. We were using a Linux system before we decided to switch to Rev Parts. We had been using it for 20 years, but it was very limited on what we could do, and we thought that Rev Parts would be a great vehicle for us to move into the 21st century. Rev Parts helps me run the business better several ways. One, it gives me instant data. The first screen, I can see things immediately if I want to. There's several things I can take out of the data during the day and see what each location's doing. I can see what each person's doing. I can manage their GP, our GP throughout the day. Before, I'd have to print off a report and scribble through it and hope that was the right information. Now it's instantaneous. It's something that we didn't have before. Another thing it helped us do, which is one of the biggest things I figured out this year, is it helped show me how much obsolete inventory we had. We had over $200,000 of inventory that we realized this year that I didn't know in the old system was just sitting out there that needed to go away. And so it's able to save us a lot of money and get the parts back to suppliers instead of sitting on my shelf eating up my cash. You know, one thing that's great about Rev Parts is that we can now, when you want to build a PO, you can suggest the lowest supplier, which is a big benefit over having to just do a spreadsheet buy. Matter of fact, I used that as an excuse from one of my suppliers. Said, "Why aren't you buying as much?" I said, "Well, it's not me, it's Rev Parts. You're not the lowest supplier anymore." The support's great. Our people know the people on the counter. We call them all the time. They help us. They walk us through stuff. If we have any question at all, they don't hesitate to call anybody at customer support. In fact, most of them know them by their first name now when they call. So they usually solve every problem when we call. There's almost no instance where they have to call us back. They can usually have a solution right then, or they can show you several different ways to do what you're asking them to do. And one thing great about Rev is there's not just one way to do anything. There's usually 2 or 3 ways to do anything you want to do. A couple different ways Rev's made me more money. Well, one is realizing how much inventory we had that's dead, so I'm now able to ship that back and free up the cash that we didn't have before. 2, it's able for me to better monitor our margins, increase margins from either from a person standpoint or a part standpoint, so I can pinpoint where that issue is, whether it's a person selling stuff lower than they should be, or whether it's a part that maybe the cost is wrong on. So I can identify those issues faster than I would have been with a Linux system. Before we switched to Rev, we used a Linux system, and it was very hard for us to train people. Matter of fact, we held on to the people because we were afraid if we lost them, we couldn't train anybody else. And the time it took them, we'd get to the summer and never have anybody that was any good. Switching to Rev in February, we were able to add on several new people, and they were able to pick the system up very easily. It was a big benefit for us this year. One of the great things about Rev is that it actually allows our employees to be more hands-on the accounting. Even though I'm a hands-on guy, I do a lot of the stuff myself. I can now have them input a lot of the invoices in the QuickBooks for me without me having to do it. The data goes seamlessly from QuickBooks from Rev to QuickBooks without me having to do anything. I just click update and it's there for me. Before, it was hours and hours and hours of me inputting data, and now the data goes from Rev to QuickBooks without me having to do anything. My name is Larry Kinser. I own Xcel Cooling products. You can find us at xcelcoolingproducts.com.